What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of True to the Game. Here at Hot Korner Sports, I'm Coach Guzzi. Here with my co-host Arbert and my other co-host, Mr. Burrito himself. We got a special guest today, Mr. Frankie Rodriguez. What's the word, sir?
What's going on, guys?
What's the word? What's in the making? What you got going on now?
Good, yes, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Get that right. Let's get that
Forever.
right. Nah, so man, just enjoying life, man. I'm the coach at Division II Mercy University up at Dobbs Ferry. Just doing lessons, baseball lessons, staying in the game, teaching the game the right way, how we grew up playing it, not like the way it's watered down and saturated right now.
Watered down is a good word for that.
Yeah.
Watered down.
That's the only word.
Watered down is the right phrase.
That's the way it really is. Yeah. I'm working on a book, either ebook or full-on book, talking about a short story about my life and how it can help some kid from the projects or a kid that, from the suburbs that didn't grow up in my particular environment, but can reach down into a tank where they know, this is a good information that I can use and help. Sure. And that's my goal, man. I say it like this to a lot of people. I try to save the game as much as I can. I try to save the game from all the parasites that are in this game that try to infect it and teach different ways that is just not gonna work. Sure. And instead of being so hard line and teaching it's gotta be this way, how about you know what this kid could do and cannot do before you try to teach this and that to him?
That's coaching right there. That's literally what it is.
That's part of the coaching, yeah. It's funny he says that because we speak about it all the time. The game is so watered down. It's gone from being a lifestyle, people are making it a hustle. How can I make a quick dollar?
We getting spicy right away.
Listen,
Talk about it.
The truth is, I can't be a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose you. I can't tell you that you have such and such and such, going on with yourself. So why would I say, tomorrow I want to be a doctor? But you got a lot of people that go out there and what they want to be, a baseball or softball guru. In 2 seconds,
Google right away. Don't talk about that. Take that online course, and then
all of a sudden
they open up a facility, and now they charge
you run into what it looks like to me is that they run into some money, or they might have some money, and then they make a place, and then it's like, yo, this is the best place ever. Listen, you could have a hole in the wall, it could be one tunnel, it could be a little corner. If you're knowledgeable, if you are reputable, and if you have the skills, you're gonna succeed.
No, but you know what happens too? What happens is you get a lot of guys, and this is why we talk about a little bit about travel teams. You have so many travel teams, there's really no 1 or 2 specific teams that you can play for because little Billy isn't good enough to play on this team. So guess what? Little Billy's dad got a little money. Now let me go start my own team. Now let me put him to play shortstop and hit and let him hit first.
And it's an ongoing cycle and it never stops.
And it doesn't
never
stop.
stops.
It doesn't stop. And it's sad because what you take away from these kids is terrible, bro. We talked about it the other day. You have kids who are playing, 6 or 7 games a week. Where do you have time to develop? Yep. You have no time to develop.
Not enough practice.
When before it was, we were either practicing or we're outside playing, with your brothers, with your friends. You're doing something baseball related that you can develop with. Yeah. But now you're taking kids, you're putting them in a bunch of games, and then now you're putting a college kid who just wants to be there because he wants to make a little money, who's not telling them anything. Now, that's where the issue lies.
Yeah, for sure. I never seen that. When we was growing up, and we're closer in eras. Don't be funny. Don't be funny.
What era?
Yeah, whatever.
what era?
An era. There were there's 3 teams you played for.
Yeah.
That's it. Those 3 teams you play for. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with other teams. I mean, it's cool. You do what you got to do. But like I said, there's too many gurus.
I hate that word.
I love the word because
I hate that word.
Shout out to Jeff Fry, by the way. I love that guy. He's a
No,
like
you love
Jeff
it because
Fry.
he makes fun of it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I hate
Jeff
it
Fry.
because it's too many people calling themselves gurus.
Yeah.
It's too many, bro. How can you be a guru?
Why you call yourself a guru? Let somebody call you a guru.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing right there, right?
I go on Instagram and I see people's captions and you see hitting guru,
oh my God.
guru.
Yo, and what they want to coach to them is this new epiphany, this new science that they just broke through, that they came up with, and that they're just gonna this is the only way.
Reinvent the wheel. Something they heard.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, because they didn't try it.
I'll put it to you like this. I was talking to them before the show. The best way to describe it is, if your son is struggling in school, are you gonna have a tutor that's never graduated high school? work with him?
No,
No.
for sure.
So you want to go out there and get the most experience, whether it's a guy that's a high school coach that's a legend that's seen many pro guys go through there, whether it's a kid that played college ball at a high level or was, a good coach in college, or if it's a former pro or current pro like yourself and former pros like myself. It's really all about breaking it down, understanding what the kid has, what he needs, and now you got to dig in your whole barrel of things that you know that you've learned that might work for him.
Yeah,
but that's not going to work for him.
You got a bag.
You gotta have
that you created like throughout the years of
because
experience.
what might work for Joey's not going to work for Mike.
No,
and that's
exactly.
it, because they're two different heights, they're two different
For
weights,
sure.
two different bat paths. So that's where it's got so saturated, because
There's
they're
so many
teaching
times.
one way.
100%. There's so many times. What you just said, you hit the nail on the head. So there's so many times where I'm working with a kid or whatever. We're working on some hitting, and a parent's like, we did that. We did that already. Yeah, well, we'll do it for 6 more weeks until he gets it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so they think that because they see all these things on Instagram where it's like, you know what? Oh, that looks like a nice drill. Some of this stuff, some of this shit is just made up. Like
and nice drill for what?
for the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is.
It's
Nice
not
drill
doing
for
anything
what?
for you. So like I say that because I'm trying to get these parents to understand that it's more of the quality over the quantity, and they don't understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The quality is because like when you're in, like you guys probably know this being in the box. When you're in the box, it's not a complex drill that's gonna get you to hit a bunch of bombs. It's what's going through your head. We go through drills that look like, bro, these are drills that existed since the 80s. You get me? Like this the same drills. Everybody does the same drills.
for sure.
Everybody just has a different thought process towards the drill. And that's when your tools, hearing other guys talk about, yo, when I do this drill, I usually think about this.
Yeah, your natural ability
Or
starts taking
when I'm
over.
here, I'm thinking about this. And you take that and you put that in your tool bag and then you give it to them. It's not the drill that you took from, it's the mentality that you took from to teach that drill in a way in the kid that's gonna understand it.
The game is about expanding your horizons a little bit. You gotta like step out the box to understand that just everything you know might not be everything you need to know.
No.
You gotta like really take some out of. I'll take some out of Frank's book, take some out of Al Urber's book, whatever it is that's gonna fit my pages in my book. You see what I'm saying? Everything's not for everybody. That's what it is.
For sure. But look, you get in the cage with a kid and you're preaching adjustability, but you just taught the same kid the same thing you taught to everybody else.
Every kid got to do it.
Okay. Ready? And scene. If you are looking for a trainer, this is how you determine your trainer's good.
Oh,
right?
this is fire right here.
Watch this.
Let's go.
Listen to this. Show up an hour before. Listen to that. Your trainer, that's one that's training your son. Listen to what he's saying. Look at the kid that he's working with. If that kid is completely different than your son, but he's teaching your son the same thing he taught him, get out of there.
No, that's a
because
fact.
he has
That's a
nothing
fact.
in
In a
his
jiff.
bag.
In a
Get
jiff.
out of
Yeah,
there.
that's a
Save your
fact.
money. You might like the guy. You might have even liked him because he was on Instagram. But it's lost. It's the lost art of you said that, adjustability, development, but like what are you developing them to do if you don't even know what the you're talking about?
And it's got to do with the times. 'Cause
Respectfully.
you know what happens
Or
is
not respectfully.
they start. You start hearing the coaches on IG. You start hearing the big leaguers on IG. Then you have somebody on his couch that never played baseball listen to this and be like, yo, I know exactly what this guy's talking about without not having a clue about what the dude is really getting deep into. You get me?
Yeah.
So that it being so accessible, that information being so accessible, makes people think that they could do it themselves. I'm gonna go out there and do it myself.
Here's the issue. They don't know the context behind it.
That's the problem. And that's the problem.
There's no
That's what they
context
run
behind
into.
it. So I can do a drill all day, but what is that really gonna do for anybody?
What does your swing look like?
Yeah, exactly.
How you teach them, but your swing is
For
not
sure. It's like when I do
sure.
my lessons, I always tell the kids the only way you're gonna get better is understanding who you are as a person, right? If you're a guy who's a little slower, maybe we gotta do this. If you're a guy who has fast twitch muscles and you're the guy who's a speedy guy, we have to do this. Yeah. If, I'm not gonna teach a kid going into, for example, those 12U to 13U, getting onto the bigger field, right? You get bigger kids, right? What I teach him, I'm not gonna teach the kid that's getting onto the big field that's 90 pounds. Yeah. I'm not gonna tell him, hey, let's try this. No,
Just teach him
let's
launch
try to
angle.
hit the ball down in the ground. Let's try to get
Everybody-
Teach some launch angle
my-
to get to the big
And
field.
that's the thing. So I try to tell
Nuts,
kids
bro.
this, right? And you could attest to this. Everybody is different. So you got that one kid that's just he's the superstar. It's just we know what it is. He's the best kid on the team. Then you got the kid that's super fast. Then you got the kid that's probably better off just pitching, has a really good arm. Then you got the kid that's really good defense and his bat is so-so.
Utilities.
But that's okay, because that's what team is. 100%. Everybody's not a superstar. This is not the Seattle Mariners that you play for. Everybody was a superstar. That don't happen all the time. You see what I'm saying? So they have to understand that the game is a team game. Everybody brings something different. Everybody brings something different.
But how, the way the times are going now, how is it a team game when you practice with your team when you do IO before the tournament? You know, when I was younger, bro, I would practice.
I don't even do IO no more.
I don't see IO no more. IO doesn't even exist.
That's not.
I hate it. I'm gonna be honest. I used to get nonsense for it last year when I was coaching high school. I just feel like the energy of IO. If you have a good IO, you're probably gonna have a good game. If that IO sucks, you just brought bad energy into the first inning.
That doesn't make sense.
I'm not a fan of it. That's just me. That's me personally.
But like, you know, for high school though, or like younger kids, it's not like in the pros where like before the game, you already took 100 ground balls. You know what I mean? For them, they kind of.
We got the stadium at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Game,
for them, they got their hour before. They get a little bit of a warm up. But it kind of, for me, IO kind of relates more directly towards the coach. You get me? Like, you look how they're doing the IO, you kind of see how they're being coached. You get me? You kind of see how like the practices are going.
That's true.
Like you see how often they practice. You get me? But like before, when I was younger, I would have 3 games in the weekend, like 3 constellation games. I mean regular games, pool games. And then if you got into it, then you played 5 games, let's say, right? The semifinal and championship. But the week I had practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They gave us Monday off and they gave us Friday off. In between. Monday or Friday was when I do my private lesson, or maybe both days. And then Saturday, Sunday, I was practicing. Nowadays, you got kids that, you know, it's a different shift. They probably hit the gym for maybe 3 days. They don't practice not once with their team, and then they do an individual practice and they show up for the game. And then you're just seeing a rock at shortstop, not knowing what the heck he's doing.
You're seeing a rock. That's a fact. What's now that you made the transition, right? Like, what was the hardest thing for you when it came from playing the game into like teaching the game? Like with the transition that you're in, since you're a college coach now. Like, what was the hardest part like about that?
Well, you know, believe it or not, and I'm sure you've had this, I'm sure you do, and same with you. Like, you got to get the kids to believe in what you're trying to teach them, and how you do that is obviously your experience will speak for itself, but it's finding the right way to talk to a different kid a different way, because we grew up in the hood. Like, there's kids that I could just slap in the back of the head and be like, and they'll know, oh, all right, my fault. And then there's kids you got to speak to a different way because they respond differently. So I think that was the biggest like hurdle I had to like from pro ball into like coaching the younger kids, because I had my own organization for a little bit, and then now college ball is really about. I grew up with this phrase: "It's not what you say, it's how you say it." So you got to find the right way. In Spanish, is "hay que buscar la manera." Right? You got to find the right way. You got to find the right words to say. You got to find the right tone. Not everybody responds. Not everybody responds to somebody, a coach yelling.
But we're talking like big leagues to college, though. You get me? Like
that's what I'm saying. So I remember somebody saying something, and I won't say who the manager was, but somebody said that there was a manager that was for the Mets. They said he's not good for big league players, because he would tell them, turn off the TV, turn down the radio. I will not say who it is, but they specifically told me this. My friends, they told, guys you know probably too, they told me that guy specifically wasn't good for big league. Now they said in other aspects of the game, he was good because he could relate, he would talk about it, but as far as like he was too hands-on with them. How do you go about that now, going from there, big leagues is more like, listen, everybody's on their own time, and we collectively try to win.
Everybody's got their system, right?
College is more rah-rah, more structure. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. So, how do you relate to that?
I've tried to come up with a way to keep it like a pro atmosphere. And what I mean by that is making sure like you're getting your own work. And if your boy's not getting your own work, get on them. Like sort of like taking care of yourself. But the biggest adjustment I feel from that is just like finding out what we need to do as a team to win. You hit it on the head. Like, everybody brings something different. You got to find out what that kid actually is bringing to your game. What is he bringing to your game? The biggest thing I talk about with kids I train or in college is like, I need today's version of your 100%. If your 100% today is 90, I need a full 100% of that 90% that you're going to give today.
That's a good point. I know nobody ever broke it down like that.
You have to understand that, because, listen, like in college, kids, they're socially awkward. They want to go out and be adults because there's their first time away from home, not being. But
It's a transition for them.
It's a
Yeah,
transition.
for
Oh, and no, I got to do homework. Oh, I got a final. Damn, I got to go to lift. I got to go to practice and then lift again. So that managing your time for them is a little difficult. So they don't need you to come in there and just be like pounding them like the parents they don't want to be next to. So
So it's more like taking in, like, my bad, Rick. It's more like taking in like that pro atmosphere of like holding yourself accountable.
100%.
But then also knowing that you're in college and holding like your teammate accountable.
Right.
Kind of thing. And then meshing it together to be like.
That's a little. I'm gonna be honest. Now that
that's a lot of work.
Like being in college, playing in college for 2 years, and like going to pro ball. Like I'm gonna be honest. Me personally, now that we're having this conversation and I'm thinking about it in my head, I think college was harder because pro ball, everything is like kind of like it's not rah rah.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's like, hey, good job. You know, a little high five, a little pat. Besides that, but in college, everything is here we go, blah, blah, blah. It's really loud, and I'm gonna be honest. I like pro ball better.
No, I get it. I get it.
I like a mix of both.
I get it.
And that's why I like playing with Latin players, bro. But Latin players, it's a lot of fun, though, because they be in the dugout, be like, yo, vamos a hacer esta vaina, you know? And it's got a little bit of both. But, like, college is more your like, I guess, I haven't been to big leagues. You've been in the big leagues. Big leagues is all about winning. You get me? And the minor leagues is almost always about, getting to the big leagues and development. You get me? So winning is kind of a little bit put to the side. You get me? Because it's kind of like development. But college is winning. You get me? College is like your coach recruited you to win. You get me? So like that dugout atmosphere is kind of what keeps those guys up, I'm assuming, right?
Right. For sure.
Go ahead.
What I was gonna say was, I think the hardest part when you like first start coaching, and maybe you guys had this issue, is trying to take yourself away from like the game. So like, kids do things and you're like, damn, I would have did that. So now you start getting mad at them. Like, how you don't know that? How do you not know this? You know what I'm saying? I think for me that had to be the hardest transition when I first started, going into like transitioning into coaching, where it's like, damn, like I would have caught that fly ball. And you have to kind of separate yourself and understand that this game's hard, bro. And at the end of the day, you made mistakes as well.
Bro,
so don't take that out on the kids.
When I tell you that you are not 100% right, you are 1,000% right. We got my high school player from last year, Diego Oka say, dude, I'm talking about, like, we're gonna be honest, like, dude, you're a special talent. I feel like I was like different. Like, it was just different. Everything was easy. It was pretty easy. So like sometimes things that happen on a field, and I'm just like, bro, what are you thinking? But I have to take myself out of that space, and I have to be honest with you and say, listen, bro, I'm me. He's him. Or she's her.
Like, you gotta coach him now, and you gotta coach him.
That's just what it is. And it took me a little bit to understand that.
Yeah, you gotta understand that.
Sometimes baseball instincts, bro, like that comes with a lot of playing baseball. Some of these kids
with good players.
Exactly. Little savvy, little, smart plays. You're like, oh damn, how he just did. That's how like the kind of baseball we played. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't see that no more.
In youth anymore.
You don't see that no more.
No.
Now it's because you want a super max 13 team that just kills everybody, and you don't play. Nobody plays up no more. That's not a
seeing
thing.
the catcher throw down signs, or see the catcher not even throw down signs, but they got a shade behind us, behind the catcher, and the hitter's hitting. And I'm like, dude, you don't see that big old shade? His whole shadow is moving this way. You don't see that shadow and he's going this way? Like, I would pick up things like that, like, little small things. Like,
Even
I'm like,
signs, bro, when the sun was behind you, whatever the case may be, whatever.
Pitcher puts his finger up, he's like, oh, that's that curveball's coming. They don't have that anymore.
Or that one kid on the team that was always stealing some sign, always finding some junk out.
Only problem was he wasn't playing. He wasn't. That's the only problem.
But he came together for a team. He came together for his
But everybody got their position, right? There you go. That's how it goes.
So 3 points, right? Here's what you got to do as a coach. And this is the biggest thing. One of the biggest things I didn't talk about, but I had to learn was you can't assume anybody knows anything. You cannot assume. You got to develop and train and make them show you that they do. 2, I have this thing, and I try to break this down. Some kids get it and some kids don't. My college team does. In practice, you don't give about anybody around you. Be selfish. And what I mean by be selfish is do everything you need to do to look good in practice, because when you get in the game, that's light. Because everybody knows that you practice hard and then the game is easy. Right? 3, his was not taught in baseball at all. Not even in the training aspect. Some people do, some people don't. Situational hitting. Why isn't that part of your training? You're working on the swing, you got an hour. How about you break down the last 20 minutes? Run on third, less than 2 outs. I need you to get the ball up. Hit and run. I need you to hit the ball down to the right side. Nobody works with that, and that's, I think, a lost art. Because now
100%.
we have guys. I had this kid 2 years ago in college. And I was like, I need you to do pick off the first. Pick off the first, what's that? What do you mean, what's that? You know, what do you mean, what's that? Like, so things, don't assume somebody knows, right?
Yeah.
Things are not being taught at the high school level that is needed in college, and what can separate you is that you know that. And this kid doesn't, and he has to be taught. And now this guy's already moving up ahead, and this guy's got to catch up.
Yeah.
And then this guy enters the portal because this guy's too far in front of him.
Gotcha.
You know
So
what's good?
I think that's big.
It's tough. It's tough. Like, cause I coached JUCO. I coached JUCO the last 2 years, and I think sometimes that's the hardest thing for us, like as a JUCO program, is that you want to win, because you only got 2 years with the kids, and because obviously winning brings that camaraderie to your program. Now people want to play for you, and I think a lot of times that's what happens at JUCOs is where, like, you want to win and you forget that, okay, let me just develop this kid in these next 2 years to get him where he needs to go. And I think a lot of times that's a big disconnect. Also, you know, speaking to players, be open-minded to that stuff, because if I'm trying to help you, for example, we did a lot of stuff in VP where it's like, okay, first round, we're just going to the right side. Then second round, I'm gonna throw a situation and we're gonna try to execute it. But everybody trying to go to the next level, so it's like, oh my God, like, no, I just wanna hit bombs all day in VP. Like, I don't know who's watching. Yeah, but if I'm telling you something and he sees you can put the ball to the right side, that's more valuable than the 2 bombs that you hit with me throwing 20 miles an hour. You get what I'm saying? So it's a big disconnect between that. And when I think when coaches, number one, understand that, but also the player understand what your coach is trying to do, because as much as we want to develop, you have to also buy into that.
Yeah.
You chose your school. Buy into what we got going on.
Buying in is everything.
It's everything.
And regardless of what level of athlete you are. If you can't buy into something, you can't be on a team. You have to play an individual sport.
Especially if you're deciding to go to that program. For example, like if I'm going towards him, right? Like he played in the big leagues. You know, obviously knows his stuff about baseball. He's obviously telling me something for a reason. I haven't walked where he has walked yet.
For sure.
And he's already telling me something here where I'm walking. So it's definitely to walk better when I get past this level. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
That's the purpose. That's like you telling your kids, like, hey, let's do situational hitting. Being like, I played for the Mets, and then him telling you, like, why are we doing situational hitting? I'm just trying to hit a bomb. Like, bro, I'm telling you, obviously this for a reason. I played that position. You are here in my school. I'm gonna get you to get to that position as well, while I try to win as well. You get me? It's like a you know, it's from both sides. All right, we're trying to win. I'm trying to develop you. You're gonna listen to me, and you're gonna take my advice, and then we'll get it together. You're gonna do your thing when you get past here, and I'm gonna get what I want right while you're here.
Exactly.
Yes.
Tell some of the parents, like, or you know, what is the process, the recruiting process, right? So a lot of these, you know, these parents, they don't understand the way things work. Some of the kids don't. Like, I'm gonna be honest, probably even me, because, you know, we was in college a long time ago. Shut up.
It's different.
Things change. You keep setting yourself up, bro.
That's all right though. I'm realistic. It's cool. What's the process now? Like what do you guys look for? What's the red flag? What's things that are gonna help them and things that are gonna kind of set them back as well?
Simple. 2 major things, right? You have a list. I call it the 15. Your 5 dream schools, your 5 schools that you would like to go to, and the 5 schools that you will settle to go to if none of these work out.
That's a good list.
Right, that's one.
Perfect.
2, every one of those rosters you gotta look at. If you wanna go to Florida State, right, and you're a shortstop, but they just had an All-American shortstop as a sophomore, guess what? You're not seeing the field for 3 years. So and then also see where everybody's from on that roster, because that'll tell you how the coach is recruiting.
Hold on. Nail. My bad.
Because you be looking at Florida's roster, it'd be Florida,
that's gold right there, man. That's gold.
Right. So look at that roster, see what position you play in, see what that year the kid is, and then also see his numbers from last year, because if his numbers are great, chances are you're not starting for that guy's duration of his college career.
And that's a fact.
Those are the 2 biggest things for me, right? And then I'll throw like a 2A and then a 2B. The 2A part is you should be going to showcases at the colleges that you want to go to, or prospect camps at the colleges you want to go to. Why? Because you have a chance to be seen by the whole staff, the whole college staff that's there, because they have to man the situation, they have to man the camp. And now you have college, we're looking for a pitcher. All right, you go over there, you work with the pitchers, you were looking for an infielder. Now, they're seeing you at the school that you want to go to.
And now it's more than one eye.
Right.
Yeah, it's not just one recruiter that didn't like you. It could be like, okay, that recruiter didn't like you, but somebody else is looking at you at that event and he likes you a lot.
Right.
And then, you know, they have that conversation.
Right. Boom. So that part. last one, which is probably should be like first, is your grades. If your grades are not good, do not expect to go to a good school unless you're that guy. If you're that guy, you're that stud, you're that monster, they'll find some money for you in the school that you might want to go to, right? If you're not, you are going to be left out of a school that if your average is 80, 81, and this kid's average is 90, 95, and you guys are similar, guess what? I want this guy.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Why? Because here's the big part of that nobody really understands or talks about much is this 90, 95 guy, he knows how to be a good student. So now that 90, bring that down to like an 80, 85, 80 when he goes to college and he's transitioning or being alone, right? Now this kid that's at 80, that's translating to like a 65 right now because he doesn't know how to manage his time. He doesn't know how to manage his time. He doesn't know how to manage his time.
Listen up.
Right?
Sure.
We went out and recruited this. I'm not even going to say the year. We went out and recruited this kid, and we were all for him. This guy's everything we need. And guess what? He comes in as a freshman, fails off. Now we got to fill this spot. Now we got to fill this spot. Now we got to fill this spot with somebody we wasn't anticipating putting there, and now he's under pressure because he didn't take many reps there because he didn't think he was going to be there. So not only when you get to there, whether your grades are 95 or whatever you're allowed to come into the school with, anticipate those grades dropping by 10 points because of everything that you need to deal with.
Nah, it's a whole another world to
That's
walk
gold,
into.
man.
That's fire.
I'm telling you, listen, I really hope people really tune in and listen to that, man, because going to college, you know, I used to hear a saying when I was going to college, and it was I was graduating high school. It was like, yo, your social security number. I remember hearing that.
That was the first time I learned my social security number when I was in college. And it wasn't even the whole thing, just learn your last four. I was like, that's easy, I can do that.
So they're like, yo,
I used to leave my room with my number on my head in case I needed it.
Right, they say, and they're like,
Do
you
what
know
you
why?
gotta do.
Because they say, whether you show up or you don't, school's getting paid.
For sure.
Done deal.
Yes, sir.
So, it kind of like let that sink in a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
it's a struggle because
Let that
kids
sink in.
forget. Mom and dad, they ain't there to wash your clothes no more, right? After the game, you gotta go wash your pants.
There's no meeting the principal.
You gotta get, hey, they can't come and talk to coach and tell him, hey, why is my son not playing? It's you're on your own.
Nobody's warning you that, hey, you're going down the wrong path. And
You know who finds out
yourself.
first? Your coach. Your coach, because then it's not like a thing, I'm going to bring you into the teacher's or the principal's office. Let's talk about your grades. No, the coach is responsible for every one of his kids on the roster, and the coach gets the email, and guess what? The coach is like slamming his hat. We just had this conversation. Why didn't you go to work study? And then there's nobody to blame but yourself. And then you know where you end up? No disrespect. You end up at a JUCO.
No, it's true.
Because now
It's
you
true.
have to fully learn how to be a college player and everything that comes with that.
No, and then let's make sure we throw this in now. The portal exists. JUCOs are full right now.
Yeah.
JUCOs are flooded right now. If you're not doing your stuff in high school right now, you can't even expect to go to a JUCO and start playing because that transfer from whatever school is going to end up there and he's going to draft it next year and you're not going to play. And you only got 2 years to be in there as well.
For sure. That's why, like, for like kids, my biggest red flag is when I see kids is like if like they give their bags to their mom or like their dad.
Well, their bags, they're carrying their bags.
That's my biggest red flag.
I just saw that the other
like
day, and I'm saying, I'm like, yo, I was like, man, this generation's different. My father's been like, what?
No, I ain't carrying that bag.
I'm not carrying that.
What about appearance? Like when you see a player, what I'm seeing, he's not touching a baseball. You're looking at him. What are you kind of seeing?
So this is just me. This is how I recruit when I go to a showcase, and there's a name in particular that I'm looking for. I put 3 boxes by that name, right? One is check or an X. How you look, I always like to stay in the parking lot as late as I can.
Yeah, you see.
It's lame and weird. Like, yo, why is the coach in the parking lot? Because I want to see you walking in with your Crocs. I want to see you walking in with your hat backwards. I want to see you walking in with no belt. I want to see you walking in that your mom's pulling your bag and giving you Gatorades, because those are 3 X's right there and you're off my list. Right? So that's one thing.
Listen up.
Two.
Tune in.
One of my 3 boxes is how you appear, like you said, right? 2 is how are you on the field? Are you stressed out? Are you smiling and enjoying the game? If you're smiling and enjoying the game, that means you love this game, you know how to play, you're confident. If you're stressed out, it's like, oh my God, I got to perform under college coaches. Guess what? When you go as a freshman, you're probably not starting. Because you got to get over that fear instantly, because now you're playing against or with, on your roster, is seniors, guys that are 22 and 23. And you're going in as an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Right? My third box is, and I look for this in particular, the natural talent takes over. You see that. I'm watching you for a reason because I already heard about you or seen you. Is how you do when you fail. Are you slamming your bat when you struck out? Are you slamming your bat when you absolutely hit a nuke at somebody and then make a diving play? Are you smiling and laughing like, damn, he got me? Or are you slamming your bat because you failed to perform the way you think you should perform in front of college coaches? Those are my 3 boxes.
For sure, and that's why I talk to kids all the time. I tell them, no coach is gonna sit there and say, oh my God, this kid went 0 for 4 today. I don't want him. You know, so you put that in your head, and now you go into that showcase or you go into that tournament where coaches are looking at you, and now you're stressed out because you're trying to force that. Yeah. And if you think we can't, it's not gonna happen. No. And if you think us as coaches can't see that, we see that right off the bat. Yeah. We see it right away.
Now.
Wait, one more point. One more point about the college. No, you didn't. One more point about college, right? So the two-way guys. I got to be honest. How many two-way guys were there?
All time?
No, not of all time. No, listen. Like, I was fortunate enough. I thank God for my talent that I was able to do it at the collegiate level, and it was pretty good. Like, when you go to a showcase and I see you as shortstop pitcher or outfield pitcher, I'm immediately trying to eliminate one because I don't want the hassle of a two-way player. The only way a two-way player can work in college is if you are a closer type pitcher, because you can play the field and I can bring you in the last inning.
Okay.
If you are a starter and you play shortstop, guess what? You start a game, you're off the field for 2 days to recover from the 85 pitches. You're off the field. So when I see a two-way on the roster, I'm immediately trying to eliminate one. So I'm like 82, 83. Not bad. Can't hit that much. Not that great fielder. PO in my mind. PO. Okay, this guy's a PO. I give it to my recruiter. I'm like, we're only going to look at him as a pitcher. So if you are going to go in there as a two-way guy, you better be exceptional. Because I put two-way guys through a hell week. And by hell week, I mean hell day. So I'll have them do IO. I'll have them take BP. And I'll have them do defensive work. And then I'll have them go through a bullpen.
So you're seeing that load on them.
Right, because that's what you want to do. Like, you got to do that. If I see him in the bullpen throwing ball, I'm like, yo, pick one. Yeah. Let me help you. You're 140 pounds. You can't hit the ball at the infield. You're okay defensively. Your arm is okay across the infield or from the outfield to the cutoff man. I think you should be a PO. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But this is where we see you.
And that's good to hear for 2 reasons. For you to pick, or for you to bust your ass and try to, if you really want to do both, you can go ahead and do it. It's got to be a load that you're able to manage. This isn't high school, you get me? It's not the same kind of process. And you're hearing it from somebody that's coaching it and that lived it, you get me? Because you pitched in the bigs, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, could you have done that schedule with hitting too when you're in the big leagues?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm different. 100%. I'm different. A lot of people tell me, yo, you missing? I'm like, yeah, you see, you're not even going to know these names I'm going to throw out. You will. Like, you see guys like Mike Benjamin, Miguel Cairo. They played 15 plus in the big leagues. I'm like, I could have did that. I could have came in and closed games and did that. So me personally, I think I could have. But again, pick one. And parents, please listen up. Don't be upset when a coach approaches you, even if the kid is 14, 15, and they say your future is a pitcher only for your kid. Get some more. Right. Not only that, get some more information or get some more opinion from other coaches. Hey, this coach said my son's probably going to be a pitcher. Can you eval him? Or spend your money going to get evaled by the right trainer.
Yeah.
At both positions, and accredited a college coach, a former pro, or current pro. Valid information that you're going to get. And don't be upset with that. Don't think your son, but he loves playing shortstop. He's not a shortstop.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of an arm. You can throw strikes. You're probably going to be successful on the mound. And it's tough because parents are like, I'm paying all this money for him to be just a pitcher. Yeah. Because you're not only paying for the tournaments that he's going to go to, you're paying, the information you're going to get, the development you're going to get. So don't be upset if a coach approaches you and tells you your son is probably going to be a pitcher only. Accept that. And then you know what? Now, this kid don't have to worry about fielding, running, or hitting.
I wish I pitched.
Now he could fully focus on a velo program, a program that's going to get his arm care off the roof so that his arm is protected for that task.
Now that he's not hitting, he got all that opportunity to just open that door fully into just pitching.
So tell me this, You see a kid, okay, maybe the kid on the field, he has everything you're looking for. Let's talk about off the field.
Right.
What's the off the field shenanigans that we, that you come across, or things that, for me personally, I see how kids walk around. I see like how they wear their clothes. I'm into style. I got good stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? I understand it, but there's a certain way to look. I feel like they don't understand that when you're an athlete, and let's just say you're an elite athlete and you're going to an elite school, and you want to go to an elite college, right? Or an elite program, you know that you are not the same as everybody else.
No.
You can scratch your eyeball the wrong way and you have a target on your back. Another kid could do the same thing and nobody's gonna notice.
Yeah.
So I say that, what is it that we don't want when you see a kid like in regular street clothes? This is pretty basic, but this is things that they need to hear.
Yeah. People don't know. That's
To
really,
your
that's the
point,
reality.
what I've learned is that window of coaches that think like that is narrowing, because they're understanding that they might need that African American or Latino on their roster, so they got to adapt to their culture. So that's changing a little bit. It's still there. Don't get me wrong. You go to West Virginia, you can't look like that. Period. Period. Let's keep it 100 on that, right? 3 things I'll look at, right? When he comes to the tour, how's he dressed? If he's in a polo shirt, khakis, I'm like, I love that kid.
No,
if he's in a hoodie and jeans and sneakers, I'm like, I love that kid. If he's in a hoodie, jeans, and sneakers, and he's like has curse words and profanity, I'm like, that's a no for me. That's a no for me, because that's the type of person you're representing, right? The big one is, and we spoke about this early, is when I go look at a kid, I already hopefully have some idea of what type of student he is. And we talk about off the field. This is the big off the field. If you're giving me transcripts that you're a 79, 80 student, like we spoke about before, big red flag, because I just can't. As coaches, you get paid. This is your job. You don't do well, you're gonna lose your job.
Yeah.
If you're bringing in the wrong type of kids, you're not gonna win, you're gonna lose your job.
No, yeah, and coaching is big too, because you bring in a kid into your program. You got kids already in that program. You can bring in a cancer. Somebody that could just nibble off 6 guys from you, and then your program's down on the ground. You know?
No, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
That's not.
Because when you said like, for example, like, people think that it doesn't matter what you wear and the things that you carry yourself, but you hit on the nose when you said, what do you represent? I feel like what you wear and what you do or whatever you is towards what you represent.
Right.
So now if you represent something and it doesn't lean towards like what your school kind of is accepted into it, then that's when you kind of like if he's a super mega player, then you're like, oh yeah, 100%, we'll take him anyways, we'll kind of fix him off, whatever. But if it's kind of like, well, if you're dicey about him, and it's like, well, but then look how he came in and already, and then you're just kind of like, you know what, fucking no.
Yes.
I'm not gonna do it. You get me?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So for you two, because you coaching now in high school and you're in college. You have a kid, new recruit, comes in, kid's a baller. Then you have your 3rd year guy, let's say. Kid had 2 good years, struggling a little bit. How do you go about that conversation with the guy who's still on the bench, new guy, but it's like, listen, I'm better than that guy. I could play over him. What do you tell those kids?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's tough.
So you run into that all the time, because you know that there's the kid that's ahead. So for me, first and foremost, and I said this before, you guys know, I don't care if I have 9 freshmen on the field. If my 9 freshmen are the better players, they're gonna play.
For sure.
That's it. I don't like. That's just not even a conversation. Like, the best players play. So if I know that one of those guys that are starting for me, and he's struggling, he's not getting it done, and the guy on the bench, I know that he can get it done, there's gonna hit a certain point where you have to pull the trigger and you have to make an adjustment. Players make adjustments, so do the coaches. We're gonna have to. It's gonna be a sit down, maybe, out of respect to whoever the kid is that I'm taking out. But it's just a matter of being realistic.
Yeah.
This is about, what have you done for me lately?
100%.
This is the game, and this is the way it goes. And I'll give them both the respect of having a conversation, but to narrow it down a little bit to what the answer is, the better player is going to play.
So the reason I asked that question is because I want these kids to know how a coach thinks about it, right? Because some of us were that kid where it's like, I'm better than this guy, but this guy had been doing it for me for some time. I'm not just gonna, the moment he messes up, he's gonna give you the opportunity right away.
He's gonna get
no,
time.
100%.
No, and I feel like
certain
coaches
kids-
communicate that
for
too.
Sure,
Like they tell them like, yo, this guy's on your ass.
For sure.
Literally.
And I think certain kids think that, where it's like, okay, this kid had 2 games, I should automatically get an opportunity. But think about this: put yourself in his shoes. You let's say you took his spot, and then you're doing well, and then your sophomore year you do well, and then your junior year you're struggling a little bit. Am I gonna just replace that you with that freshman right away? I'm gonna give you an opportunity to see if you can adjust. And I think that's where the biggest disconnect lies a lot of times, where then you work into now kids being cancers, where it's like, well, I wanna go to another school now because I didn't get a fair chance.
Yeah.
It's not fair to me as a coach for me to say, or not fair to that kid for me to say, hey, you've been struggling, like you're gone. No, give him a little chance to mess up, and then when it feels like it's a point, at that point, okay, we gotta do something better. You know what I mean? But that's the only reason I ask that, because I want to kind of see where you guys, so kids can understand where we think of as a coach, how we kind of go about that process.
You got to leave your feelings out of everything.
For sure.
It's not like your personal feelings. Like there's kids on my team now that I've known since they were like 7, 8 years old. Like, and it's okay. I have personal, relationships with them, but when you get on the field, it's business. Mm-hmm. Business and personal.
Yeah, like he said, you got to win.
That's it.
I'm going to lose my job if I don't.
The goal for these kids, this is the goal. I want to teach them to be better men and to learn how to win together. Mm-hmm. Because when you're in any kind of thing, anything, you could work in a law firm. You don't do all the paperwork and everything by yourself. It's a whole team.
Yeah.
So it's teamwork that makes the dream work.
Right.
Sounds cheesy, but it's the truth.
No, it's the truth.
You know what I'm saying?
So how we recruit is a little different than a lot of schools, whether it's the D1, D2, or D3. It's a little bit different. We recruit with the point of, I recruited you because I think you can sit down my senior. I think you can sit down my junior, right? So we recruit that way. And it's the culture you built that doesn't allow that cancer to form. Because, damn, this freshman came in and beat me out. I was that freshman that came in and I beat the other guy out. Yeah. So I understand the whole rotation of it. So if it's explained and understood that when they come in, you're going to get the absolute chance that you have been spoken to about and the spot that you deserve. Here's the thing. If you're hitting, you'll always play. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you can play defense, I might bring you in late in the game. If you're doing one and not the other, cool. If you're doing 2 wrong, I got to give somebody else a chance, because we can't win a game with you on the field right now. We'll work on some stuff in practice, but we can't win a game with you on the field right now the way you're playing. Yep. So that's where that opportunity comes in.
That thought of, I'm bringing you in to beat my senior, that's money right there, because bring it to a pro ball, because that's where we all want to get, right? Mm-hmm. What's the draft? And you're already on the team. It's literally finding somebody that's going to replace your job. 100%. That's exactly what, and they draft every year, every single year. And then you get to the big leagues. How many levels before the big leagues?
Sometimes 5, 6.
Okay, and then the draft too. So what is those levels for? To take directly waiting for you to not do your job so somebody else can do it.
100%. Process of elimination.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
As simple as it is.
For sure.
Process of elimination.
Exactly. In college, it might be a little bit more intimate because, you guys know each other a little bit more, but it's the same exact thing when you get into that big fishbowl, bro. It's just the same.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's why it's great that we had that conversation, because, like, I see those kids all the time where it's like, I'm better than that kid, I should be playing, and this and that. But, number one, sometimes you got to wait your turn, right? Let the guy in front of you mess up. But in your job, though, is I'm going hard in practice every day.
Yes.
I'm making sure that everybody sees here that I'm better than you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm better than you, and that's how it works.
So you can never say that kid is not ready.
For sure.
He's ready.
Ready to go.
That's the only way he could prove it,
Yeah,
right?
but that's where the
mindset. They don't
for
have
sure.
that no more.
But that's
It's
the whole
entitlement.
point. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
entitlement.
It's the
It's
culture.
entitlement,
The
yeah.
culture you build.
Entitlement is 100%.
Yeah,
like,
that too.
I came into the school, I had all this hype coming into it, and now I'm not gonna play. For sure. That's exactly what they think. Instead of coming in like, yo, there's people already here. There's one way for me to get this job, and it's in practice, because I don't play.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
it? So I'm gonna show him in practice.
Gotta out-practice.
So the moment that he fucks up and the coach thinks in his head like, yo, I saw him do that in practice, then that's my opportunity.
Yes,
but
sir.
I'm the one with the opportunity to plant that seed in my coach's head with the work that I'm doing. You know what I'm
And
saying?
keep yourself available at all times. That's huge.
Availability is the best ability.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, like kids come into your school, you probably got guys that tell you, yo, I only play shortstop. No, you play the infield.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? You're an infielder. You play first, second, third, and short. Because wherever you come into college, you don't know what position you're gonna take over. You're just trying to play, trying to get ABs.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to a little JUCO in Howard. It's called Howard Junior College in Big Springs, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
I know a couple guys that go there.
Yeah. That kid, Alan Hernandez.
Bro, you know they went 1 year completely undefeated? A whole season undefeated and won the
Bala
chip?
went there too.
Bala went there.
Yo. That school was good. It was good. It was great for me.
San Jacinto, you got Howard, you got Odessa.
Odessa,
The Western. Oklahoma.
Midland,
Played all those teams, yeah.
New Mexico.
And then out of JUCOs, when you got drafted.
No, I was drafted out of high school. So when I was drafted, I came from the era of when you were drafted, the organization had your rights for a full year.
Like a draft and follow kind of?
For draft and follow.
Oh,
So it's like, it's a draft. You get drafted. You have this time to sign him. If not, you can't talk to him until a period, which was right after the World Series, whether it was junior college or 4-year college.
So you got drafted in high school, and through that period you went to college.
Right. But let me tell you why I went to college.
Okay, yeah. That's what
You ready? I'm a curse. I'm a curse. You ready for this shit? You ready for this shit? So I was drafted the first pick of the second round, but I was the Red Sox first pick because it was compensation for a trade they made. So they didn't have a first round pick this year, right? So meet with them, blah, blah, blah. They make an offer. I'm like, absolutely not, because whatever, I'm nowhere near those numbers. The night before, which was the last night they were allowed to talk to you before you go to college, and then that's it. They can't talk to you until the season's over. They offered me 80 grand, right? Their first pick, mind you, 80 grand. And you know what the words were? You should take this money. Your family, nobody in your family is ever gonna make this amount of money. Like nobody ever has. And this is, you can get your family,
That's wild.
But I it was disrespectful, but it wasn't meant to they weren't hurtful words from him to me. So they were like, this is a lot of money for you. It'll get you out of your position and set your family for life. And I was like, no, thank you. I appreciate that, but I want you to know that completely motivated me. Bang. Ooh. I get on the plane the next morning. I went on the plane the next morning. The college, I already knew him because at summer ball we played somewhere in New Mexico, and he came down there, and we met him. So there was a couple of guys going that year. We met him, so it was there. I got off the plane. He was like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Nah." I told him the story, and he was like, "Well, let's get on campus. Let me show you the campus." I was like, "No, let's get on campus and show me the cage." And I dropped my bags off there. I came in sweats and sneakers, and from right there, off the plane, I was hitting. That's how determined I was.
You were on a mission.
Absolutely, that was my mission. And thank God, because I had the best year of my life. The best year, like.
But you know what led to that best year? You heard what you just said? Your attitude.
Yeah.
Listen, this is what I'm gonna do, and I don't care what nobody's gonna tell me, but we're gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving it in this guy's hands, Ricky's hands, or this hands. I'm gonna go get it. And that's the problem. People want things handed to them.
Yeah,
You
100%.
gotta kick the door down, brother.
They feel like they deserve it. Like, no, earn it.
That's it.
Earn it.
You got kids nowadays like, yo, my game was filled with scouts, and not one of them talked to me. He's pouty. I'm like,
You know that there was other.
Also, this is just
25
because you got a uniform.
Entitlement. You said it. You're right.
Nowadays, yo.
Yeah.
Insane.
and we were talking a little bit. I wanted to say this earlier. Like the term realistic, right? It's got love and it's got hate. You were talking about looking at the rosters in the school to see if it was realistic for you to go there.
Right.
They talk to you about being a big leaguer, and they'd be like, some people say, oh no, be realistic. No, that's a different. Realistic in within yourself. You get me? Like you look at yourself realistically and see where you could put yourself, your talents to perform.
Yeah.
You get me?
I'll tell you a funny little quick story with that. So in Oklahoma, in high school, I was topped out 92 on the mound. I played shortstop. In college, I was at 97. Closing games out, like you said, and playing right and third. I didn't play short in college. So the truth to this is that, listen, the expectation of people with this two-way kind of like I had to tell myself, listen, I am not going to do both. Like this is not like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is not, I'm not Otani. Like this is what it is.
You're looking at yourself right there, and
They're saying two-way. Guess what I said? You know, I was like, listen, they wanted me to pitch so bad, bro. So bad. I'm a thrower. I'm not a pitcher.
Yeah.
Cut that. Start swinging the bat. But what you did, attitude. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. Everybody's telling me what they want me to do. And of course, I'm listening to them.
For sure.
But in my heart,
I got something else.
This is the problem. This is the problem with everybody. They let what their thoughts and what's in their heart out their mouth.
True.
And it comes out, and then it sounds selfish. It sounds, there's nothing wrong with feeling a certain type of way, but you got to learn how to keep that in and let it out in your work ethic.
Yeah,
Yes.
fuel.
100%.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
On your shoulder and go.
Like you had that, like you got that phone call and you hung up right after. You didn't go in there and start telling people off and then end up in Texas all pouty. No, you said, okay, that's done. Now I'm looking at this situation. Look, I was a first pick for the Red Sox. Realistically, I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna bust ass because I got the opportunity and I'm gonna get it the way I want it now.
Yeah.
And that's the way you got it. You get me?
100%.
That sounds like his story with the If you watch that other episode, you know his story with when he got the call. He was right back to work.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it realistically. I could bang and I didn't have eyes. You get me? So like now I got eyes and I'm a bang. You get me?
Sure, for sure.
That's the way you gotta look at things.
But that's a different kind of mindset, bro. And that's the whole point of this is for these kids to understand that you want to make it to where damn near this amount of people have made it. You gotta have a mindset like that. I've never heard those two stories to me. I mean, they make me want to do something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's dope to me, So it's like, if you can be told that like we're gonna put your dreams on pause right now, and you go fight for that. To me, that's the dopest thing. So super amount of respect for you.
Thank you. Appreciate
man.
that.
Because you're the first. I told you this earlier. Like, growing up in New York City, when you hear about baseball, at one point, right? So you had like Sean Dunston. That's the era before him, right? Like Sean Dunston.
Yep.
I was in 6th grade, 5th, 6th grade, 7th grade. And my father was, my father was a big newspaper guy. He loved the Daily News, bro. He's flipping through it. His fucking fingers got ink all over it. flipping, right? So he's like, I want you to read. I used to hate to read. I was good at it. I don't got to read. He used to show me the sports section. I was like, shit, I'll read this part. This man right here, he was always in it. So it was in basketball, it was Marbury. It was Telfair, you know what I'm saying, at that time. And then he's before Telfair, though. And then he was the baseball guy. So I would watch him like quiet as a little kid. I was a little kid. And I'm like, damn, man, like, I could do that. I remember going to Yankee Stadium. And I remember he was pitching. I was sitting in the bleachers. Nosebleed. But so you guys understand this. You're only a half a second from meeting somebody or being around somebody that was doing something that you wanted to do that you actually made happen. If you follow what I just said.
Yeah, I got it.
See what I'm saying? And like,
That's dope.
I remember being in the bleachers. Dude, I'm a little ass kid in the bleachers. And I'm just like, and in my mind and in my heart, I'm like, I don't even know what pride is yet, but I'm like, that dude is he's from where I'm from. I remember, bro.
I want
like,
him to go crazy.
This is accessible. Like, I could tap this guy on his shoulder like this. Like, look, like, you know what I'm saying? So,
That's a beautiful thing, bro.
so when these kids have these dreams and aspirations, understand that everything's obtainable. You can get to wherever you want to get to, but you just gotta surround yourself by the right people.
100%.
Getting into that, I want to ask you, who gave you that mindset? Like, obviously, probably where you grew up, that was probably the biggest thing, but who in your life affected you to where you're like, you built that work ethic and you built that mindset?
All right, bro. Sad news. Sad. Prepare. Don't fucking cry.
Nah,
So I grew up with the trifecta of bad shit that could possibly happen. My father was in jail. He died in jail of AIDS on Christmas when I was 13. No big deal. He was in and out of jail. Wasn't really there. So my mom, I didn't even cry at the funeral. Like, it was just like instantly, it was like, nah, I gotta take care of my mom. Sat my mom down, be like, yo, I'm gonna be outside, probably past the lights when they come on. Cause that's when you go upstairs. When the lights come on, you go upstairs. That was our time.
Sure.
I'm gonna be outside, mom, but this is what I'm gonna be doing. If you wanna come down and check on me, I was in the handball courts. You know what a handball court is, right? The big wall.
Wall ball.
Boom, boom. And I still do those exercises with my college players. I was with wiffle balls with a cone because before tees, there was fucking construction cone. So wiffle balls, bang, 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 and she would come down your right. Mom, bring water. Boom, banging, banging. So that was my motivation factor. It didn't come from a person. It came from
Your situation.
my situation, and that I wasn't going to be a victim of my circumstances. Right? I wasn't going to be a stat. I wasn't going to be a statistic where this is a kid from the projects. He didn't make it. Here's why. His dad wasn't around. His mom had to work all the time. No, that was like, for me, the understanding of what I needed to do.
Nah, yeah.
So it wasn't
Yeah.
a person motivating me. It was what I needed to do for my life and my mom's life that motivated me.
No, because you use your situation as motivation.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, because a lot of guys, people go through
Feel
stuff,
sorry for
right?
themselves,
For
right?
sure, and you feel sorry for yourself, you know, and it's also good on another side of kids who grew up, you know, with mommy and daddy, with, you know, that don't know what a kid that grew up in the, in the hood and stuff like that go through, So it's good to how you kind of see both sides, but it's dope to see how you use that as your motivation, because a lot of times, and 9.9 times out of 10, people fold.
Yeah, they
people
do.
fold, and they don't know how to be able to, maneuver those situations. So it's dope to see that. Would you say your mom probably played that biggest support role for you then?
Yeah, but my teammates played the role. That was my family.
That was your
The game
family,
of
though.
baseball was my father.
Yeah.
And that's what I took it as.
That's beautiful, dog.
That's beautiful, for
I'm sure
sure.
that made you an even better father, not having a father.
Oh my God, yeah, bro. Look, the proud father.
That's dope.
The proud father, bro.
Right?
Nah, this is a company that I saw online, and I contacted him. I'm like, yo, I love your product. I wanna be one of your ambassadors. He sent me a T-shirt. He was like, yo, just go on and just send pictures, do what you gotta do, because I know you're a good father, because I could see your IG, you posting all your stuff about kids, and all this stuff. So it was just like perfect. I was like, yo, I need that gear. I need that gear. That everything's to me. Absolutely.
Bro, and motivation's everywhere, dog. It don't have to be like such a tragic story like that, like going through that. Motivation's everywhere. And if you feel like you can't find motivation, yo, ask your parents questions. What you have right now, that sense of entitlement that you felt, isn't probably something that your parents felt, or something that your grandparents felt. Have conversations.
A lot of us.
Yeah.
A lot of us, like my parents, but my grandmother, she ran out of DR and got here when she was 18. I think she was 20 or 18. I'm not sure which one it was. But she came here, worked in a factory. She sacrificed her life to give everybody else. Every single one of us who are up here right now have that story, whether it's your parents or your grandparents.
Yeah.
It's they left where
Somebody
they were from.
sacrificed to give us that opportunity.
So nobody felt sorry for them. So why wouldn't we do what we got to do for the sacrifices that they made? You see what I'm saying?
And you see how they made it, and then you're looking at your situation. Like I'm hearing my mom and dad come from DR, and my dad don't know a lick of English, to work in a car wash, and my mom in the factory the next day as soon as they get here. That's not my situation. I was born here. I got to go to school here. I was given a talent to go do something. So, and they didn't have the opportunity. Whatever dream or whatever thing that they had that they were good at, they threw it out the door.
They're living through you.
Yeah, they threw it out the door and gave
100%.
it to me, and they gave me the opportunity. So now I'm gonna come in any situation and tuck my tail? No, man, I'm showing out.
Yeah,
For sure.
have to.
You played for one of the best teams probably in my lifetime. Besides that Cleveland Indians team with Manny and them over there.
Man.
Not that you played for them, but that was one of the best teams I've seen ever equipped. You played for Seattle.
Yeah.
Brother. Jim Tomey was there, right? At the time?
No,
sorry. You got what's the catcher's name? The big tall guy?
Tom Wilson.
Dan
Wilson.
Dan
Dan Wilson, yeah.
Omar Vizquel.
Ooh.
No, Vizquel wasn't there. It was no. He had left there and went to Cleveland at the time.
Well, Griffey, A-Rod.
Griffey, A-Rod, Edgar Martinez, Mike Cameron. Ready for this one?
Martinez, right.
Jay Buhner, ready for this one? Ricky Henderson.
Oh,
Ricky Henderson, Jamie Moyer. Yo, the roster was
insane.
sick, bro. And you walk into the clubhouse every day and you learn something. I would see like Edgar every day, and I didn't have the nerve to ask him because he's Edgar. He's shaving his bats, putting it on a scale, shaving it, put it on a scale. Break it, throw it, get a new one, because he had his particular thing. This bat had to be this weight, and I'm making sure it's this way before I start the game. Right.
Well, I
Then
ain't gonna question
you
what
got
he doing.
A-Rod. You got A-Rod. That's another one we didn't
question
mention.
what he doing.
A-Rod in the gym. First one there, last one to leave. Like that whole cliche of first one there, last one to leave. Like the epitome of that. That's one thing. You might not like him because of how he looks and talks, because I didn't like him like that either. But he became a good teammate. The work ethic was there for him.
That's why these colors are, because that was one of my favorite teams to watch.
yeah.
So
Lou Pinella, the manager.
Vanilla. Yep. So,
That's a goal right
so
there.
I'm gonna say this. What is it like? Everybody like this Jordan for baseball, right? I mean for basketball. Baseball, it was Griffey.
Yeah.
Griffey was the Michael Jordan of baseball at one point. He was like the guy.
He dropped shoes.
I'm
Yeah,
talking about
swag,
branding.
yeah.
He had his swing man.
Yep.
He had everything going for
Yeah.
him. What is that like every single day walking into the locker room, or even getting to rub shoulders with a dude like that, bro?
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest to ever strap him on, bro.
Crazy.
Like it's insane. Like what was that like?
Humble, but he's not humble. But he loves you, and he'll tell you to, yo, back up, man. That outfit is ugly. Back up, bro. Get away from me. Like I did during COVID, I did a little thing with him. I did a live with him, and he's sitting, and right behind him is a little thing with all his gold gloves behind him. I was like, yo, before we start this, you really positioned yourself behind the gold gloves? He was like, yeah, Frank, of course. You know that I was gonna do that. You know me. So he was like that, man. Like he got his braces removed, and we were at the hotel. He got his braces removed, and he was just like, man, my mouth hurts. I was like, oh, you got your braces removed? And then I tell his wife, I'm like, yo, he still sucks his thumb? Like, and he goes, yo, you better shut. So my favorite story was during the All-Star break, he had a little hamstring thing, so he didn't go to the All-Star break. So he was like, yo, Frank, what are you doing for the All-Star break? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna come to the house. So it was him, Jay Buhner, Tom Lampkin, which was a backup catcher at the time, and myself. We went to his house. We get to his house. Beautiful. Everything you expect, right? Walk in. He was like, yo, here's the remotes to the TVs, this and that. Do what you want to do. This remote's for the pool table. I'm like, yo, I'm bugging out. Yo, Jay, where's the pool table? And Jay goes, press that button right there. Shit just comes up from the floor.
I was
like, are we doing it like that? I'm like, we doing it like that? He goes, of course I'm gonna do it like that. I was in the big leagues when I was 19, bro. I'm gonna spend this money while I got it.
That's
So,
a fact, yo.
but then again, like
dope.
anything you needed, like I would go to New York sometimes, like my tickets, before you had to pay for them, you would see like, everybody gets 6. So I'm like, yo, I need 100. You got anybody in town? Let me get your tickets. You would, and I would have like 100 people. He was like, yo, you got 100 people? Like, really? Like, that many people like you or know you? So, like that. So I was like, yeah, man, they love you. He was like, all right, what you need? We go to the back. There's like a box of his bats, another box of like BP bats, and then bats that he already autographed, and gloves, and like gamer gloves. He was like, take what you need. I was like, all right, I'm gonna take that too. He goes,
That's dope.
for 100 people, you're gonna take 2? And I took like 10 of each, and I gave them out to my,
They were crazy.
to the community center where I grew up in. And I'm like, yo, give this to like the kids that, are your best people that pay attention, that they're good, and make them be leaders, and just give this to them. And they appreciated it. So it was good.
So there's a I have a little thing with my pop. So one day I'm not sure if you was with Seattle at that time, but I'm in the bleacher creatures, right, with my dad and my godfather, and Griffey's in center field. Bro, this guy, he's God, bro, at the time, He got the flip glasses.
Mm-hmm.
So
You told me this.
I'm a little kid. I'm little, man. I had to be maybe like 11, where I could catch the ball, though. I could catch the ball.
Yeah.
But I ain't bring a glove. My father's like, don't be a nerd. You ain't bringing a glove. It's like, all right, cool. I'm not going to bring my glove. So anyhow, my godfather's in between. My father's there. I'm here, and then it's the walkway to go up. So they're heckling. I'm talking about, but my dad was showing me something. My dad always had a purpose to like what he was trying to do. Like he's showing me like, I'm going to heckle Griffey, but you're going to see how it's not going to affect him. Mm-hmm. He told me this before this game. Like the way it all played out, it just worked. So he's talking hella. I'm talking about saying,
Spicy.
Like, just to prove a point to me, Griffey don't say nothing. He hits 2 homers that day. One was 3 inches from my head. I'm not kidding. Dude, I remember this like it was yesterday. 3 inches from my head to the right. Cool. Griffey runs out, boom, he's throwing to center field. And dude, this is Griffey. I can see him. He's right there. If I jump over this wall, I could give him a pound. That close, right? So whatever. He's still, you still suck, Griffey, your mother, blah, blah. Yo, just going crazy. But he's trying to prove a point to his son. Because he knows that this is the path that I want. I want this in my life. I want to be a baseball player. Griffey hits another one to the left of my father. I'm talking, his shit.
He was playing target practice.
His are like
Moonshots.
He hit these moments like on a line. So he runs back out to the outfield, and Griffey got the flip glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Griffey comes out, little silver joints. It was the fly. He had everything flashes. So he goes like this, and then he looks my way. Now, I don't know if he's looking at me. I take it like he was looking at me. And then he flipped them up, and he like winked his eye like that, and then flipped them down, and then ran off. And I was like, that right there told me, excuse my language, you're a bad motherfucker, bro.
Yeah.
I said,
He was that dude.
Listen, and my father said, did he fold up? Did he cry? Did that bother him? And from that point on, anybody could have said whatever they wanted to me on the baseball field, bro. I was like, yo, bro, I'm trying to be like Griffey.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like I will never forget that story, bro. I mean, that time. It's my story, but that time.
Fine.
Like, I was like,
That's
yo,
fine.
dude, my father was saying some craziness to prove a point, and Griffey just
2.
not 1, and all within 7 feet.
That's what I'm saying. He was trying to target practice, trying to snipe your father.
Insane, bro. Insane.
Yeah.
You might have been on that squad. I'm not sure, bro, but
You remember the year?
I don't know, man. I feel like it was.
Don't say it. 18, 88.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, shot.
Hey, you want some of that, man?
Let me ask you this though. What do you think your best moment in the big leagues is?
Joe Girardi.
Oh God.
Hold on. Before we get into that, let's talk about it because them hands is real. Let's talk about it.
He a good
Yo,
coach, but don't
it's
get
funny.
it too-
Before
don't
I
get
get
it
to the
twisted.
story, I went back and forth with this dude because I posted the fight because it's my players that tell me like, yo, coach, we haven't seen the fight. Post it in a while. Post it. I'm like, all right, bet. I posted it. This guy's like, yo, this kid can't fight. This is like people that they're going back and forth. I was like, you know what? You're probably right, but I don't think you want to see me. So you can DM me. Like that's crazy. I'm like, listen, they were haymakers. Like I'm a kid from the street. I didn't have no boxing lessons. You're not gonna see no skill.
I was trying to land
There's
one.
no
Ray
skill.
Bob. I'm just trying to get one.
I don't know.
So-
I just saw
Yeah.
and it went down. I don't know.
There's an even funnier story, a part 2 to that, like
man.
years later.
Oh, I need
So
to hear that.
we
You licked him again.
This 2000. Our starting pitcher just got smoked. He didn't even make it out the first inning. I came in, bases loaded, got out of the jam, no runs. We were down like 11-0, first inning, right? I ended up throwing 5 innings from there, 5 scoreless, so I did a good. It was against Randy Johnson, as a matter of fact. And the reason why I know that is because I tell this Randy Johnson story to everybody I teach pitching. I'm like, you're not getting enough push off that mound, and there's not enough going towards the plate. I'm 5'11", Randy Johnson was 6'11", and we landed in the same spot. Mind you, that's the story in the story. So, yeah. So, remember Jason Grimsley? Reliever for the Yankees.
Yeah.
He comes in, A-Rod hits a 3-run blast off of him. A-Rod pimps it, whatever, being A-Rod. Next batter was Edgar Martinez. Grimsley throws a pitch here, no problem. Then he throws a pitch and it hits Edgar in the elbow, out for the season. Mind you, I'm already in the clubhouse for 10 minutes with ice here, in shorts and a t-shirt. My uniform already in the laundry bin. Lou Pinella comes in with his fake Cuban accent. Frankie, you got to go out there and you got to hit somebody. I'm not going to waste nobody from the bullpen. You got to go. I'm like, yo, Lou, I have ice on for 10 minutes. He goes, I don't care. I was like, oh, shit. I bet. Let's do it. I'm warming up. I'm like, damn, my shit is like rubber. It's like numb. I'm warming up. First dude is Luis Sojo. So they told me, like, get the first guy out, hit the next guy. Get Luis Sojo out with a, like, 64-mile-an-hour curveball because that's all I had left. The next guy up was Chuck Knobloch. I played with Chuck in Minnesota. So it wasn't like he was going to, like, come and get it. Like, he didn't want it. So I hit him in the ass. Fair. Like, boom, right in the ass. Boom. And I looked towards the dugout, and I was like, yup. And then I was telling him the story. Little did I know, they weren't really, like, talking to me. They were talking to the umpire at first base because he was the one that gave Clemens a warning the night before for throwing inside. So they were talking to him. And I'm just like, fuck you don't want it. You pussy, come out here. You can read my lips in the video. All right? And then I get to home plate, and it's Girardi. And he was like, hey, get off the field. If you're not going to do it, get off the field. I was like, fuck you too. And then that's when, like, the Haymakers came, boom, boom, boom.
Yo, you landed one though, yo.
I landed 4.
Don't get it twisted.
I landed 4.
You hit him with that one where the shoulders.
Yeah.
He hit it with a clothesline.
Yeah, the shoulders just kind of like, whoa. You definitely hit
Jay
him with a
Buhner
bro.
grabs me. He was like, all right, kid, you did your job. Let's go. Let's get you out of here. And then we're by the dugout, and I look to the right, and everybody's like lined up, push. And remember Shane Spencer?
Yeah.
Big ass country fed. He's coming, he's like attacking, and everybody's holding him off. And then Jim Leyritz breaks through. And like he gets right in front of me and he goes like this to me, like he was gonna do something. I dotted him, I put his head like a wrestling move, like hit his head, and then I threw him on the floor. And then Jay Buhner grabbed me and he ran me up to the clubhouse, bro. Yo, Jim Leyritz did this video like the next day, his eye was closed. He was like, I don't know what happened. Fast forward to spring training the next year. Like I'm in Seattle, we're in Arizona. He's with the Cubs. He was a free agent or signed or got traded. He was with the Cubs. So I warmed up. I'm already sitting down, and I see him coming. I'm like, oh, it's about to be on. Took my hat off, my gloves. I took my spikes off too because I'm not gonna fall on cement. So I'm sitting by the stairs. He walks in and he walks up to me. I don't know if y'all know, Girardi was on that juice, boy. And what I mean by on that juice, like there was veins coming out his forearms, like he was a monster. I was like, all right, it's gonna go.
All right, here we go.
Hey, no hard feelings, man. It's part of the game. Let's let it go, right? I'm like, cool, no problem. Fast forward to when I retire and I'm working at Pro Swing, which is in Portchester. His son was good though, by the way. He was ranked in baseball and football. His son was like 11. His son was talking shit, like any typical kid that's better than all the kids around. Like to his cousin, he was like, oh, Cuzzo, you suck. You're not as good as me. I was like, yo, why don't you calm down? He goes, nah, I'm better than all these kids. I was like, that's cool. You know what? I'm gonna talk to you because we cool. So I built that rapport with him where we was talking like street talk. Like I was like, shut up, you little. He was like, fuck you, coach. Like that. And I was like, yo, I think you need to calm down. Or you need to speak to your father about the story where I beat him up. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, ask your father. And his father was there. His father was there. The next day he comes in, Girardi comes in, and he looks at me, he goes, really? I was like, well, tell him to shut up. And that was the funniest part of the whole thing, not even the fight. The fight was part of the moment, but telling his son, I fucked your father up, shut up, was great. It was great.
But you see, that's old school stuff, though. You see how you could, like, listen, that happened, it's man.
Oh, no,
that happened.
Yeah.
Nah.
It's over. That's it. It's done.
So because of that fight, and then there was another incident where it was in the Dodgers where Mark Grudzielanek.
Infielder.
Right.
Yeah.
So they threw inside on Griffey and they threw inside on Jay Buhner. Those are my boys because we hung out like all the time. And I was like, I'm gonna throw inside. I'm gonna throw inside to Jay and to Griffey. They were like, no, you won't. I was like, you don't remember what happened the other day? I'm throwing inside. He was like, all right, I bet, we got you. And I threw inside, and Grudzielanek was like, he looked at me, he looked at his bench, and I was like, let's get back in. Threw another one inside, and he was just like, and just like anybody that really doesn't want to fight, they wait till the catcher gets in front, and then they want to attack, right? And then that moment on, like, Lou Piniella came up to me after the game, Griffey came up to me, a lot of the studs, like,
Mad respect.
right, they were like, yo, you're our guy. That's dope. And it's funny because the next year after that, they released me, and Griffey's agent called my agent, and they were like, yo, Griffey wants you to play with him in Cincinnati. So I'm like, all right, bet. I'm his enforcer, bet. Like, so that bought me another year in the big league. So
That's dope.
Nah,
that's what it is.
So we,
Character, yeah.
About character, man. And you know, you just people love you, bro. It's just what it is.
yeah.
We gotta go back to my question after you talked about beating people up. what was your best
Keep slice over here.
MMA fight over here? What was your best moment in the big leagues, you would say?
When we were playing in Baltimore, in Camden Yards, and Roberto Alomar led off the game, and he tried to bunt on me, dragged it, threw it down third. I grabbed it and threw it like this to first without looking. We got him. And he comes out, he goes, there's no fucking way you made that play, Frankie. You asshole. I needed that hit. I was like, yup. I was like, that was like my moment. I was just like, cause the fans went crazy. Yeah. It was crazy. I was like, oh shit, I made that play. Damn, I'm in the fucking big leagues, bro. Like this shit was, and then you see it on SportsCenter, I was just like, man, I'm here. So that was one of my favorite moments, to be honest.
So how was that back then, like, with, like, let's say that you on a sports center, right? You know, nowadays, your phone blowing up because you getting tagged, everybody's like that. But at that time, what's that like attention like? Were people calling you? People like,
What is it?
There really weren't cell phones at the time. But yes, don't get mad. So fast forward to a couple of years ago when Derek Jeter came out with the documentary. Remember that?
oh yeah.
Me fighting was one part of the story.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
I was home. My phone goes ping, 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 ping. I got like 50 texts in a row. Yo, we just saw you on the documentary. I was like, all right. So I guess what you're saying when that is like how it equates to that, it's just like you make it, right? You make it. You get to spend some time with your friends. Like in New York, I always told my friends, yo, let's come out. My real friends, it was only like 4. I'm like, yo, we're going to dinner. We're going to this bar. We're going to hang out, VIP, all of that stuff. So being able to do that with friends that you grew up with, that saw your struggle, that were like, yo, Frank, we're going to go hang out over here. I'm like, yo, nah, I got to get my reps. I'm throwing this ball off the wall. And they respected that. You know, I was telling him before, in Eastern District at the time, there was gangs. There was gangs all over the place. I played basketball with every gang in the gym. Like every different period was a different gang, and they all had my back. They were like, Frank, don't go over there today. We going down, it's getting down over there, stay away from that area. So people knew in that area, in that school, and in my era, they knew
that you was going, like you had a path, you had a way.
So be able to make it and share it with the guys that I knew that were along with me was great.
That's the way, I feel like we gotta get back to that. Get back to that because people nowadays, they wanna do it for the hype. Like, you get me? Like, I just want people to know my name. Before, it's like, you know, you got that integrity. You feeling like, yo, people that saw me wanna do it, saw me do it, and now they're gonna tell somebody else, like, yo, you could do it because I saw somebody do it. You get me? That's love, bro.
What would you say, you know, everybody loves the good stuff, right? But like, we you know, we honest. To be a man, you gotta be honest with ourselves. Like, you know, that's the hardest thing sometimes. What was your demise in baseball, man? What do you think, you know, took you off of your path, so to speak, man? Like,
I guess the big distraction was having a plastic card saying that you could buy whatever you want.
Damn.
And that led to hanging out. That led to hanging out with the wrong people. And by wrong people, I mean wrong gender. And so you get into trouble. And then it becomes not only a distraction. Before it became the realization of like, I need to stop doing this, it was almost like an addiction to like the fact of, I am who I am. I'm that VIP dude. I could do what I want. I could buy what I want. I could fly in whoever I want. And for a while, it got me out of there, you know, and my skills diminished because of the lack of attention that I didn't give it.
So I was watching something on Instagram, and Bobby Abreu was speaking, right? And they asked him a question, and they said, what works, talent or a hard worker? And like you just said, because you didn't work on something to diminish, he said he'd rather be talented, but being talented, you still have to work hard.
Yeah.
Because when you don't work on your talents, people are passing you, and your talents diminish.
Yeah.
I
100%.
literally just saw that this morning.
Right.
So it hits me because I literally just saw that, and I hear you say that.
Yeah.
So to everybody who's tuning in, understand that talent is a gift from God, but it's just like, what are you gonna do with that talent?
Your craft. Like, what are you gonna do with your
What
craft?
are you gonna do with it? So that's big, man. That's huge.
I got a question. So when you had your kids, it was while you were in the big leagues?
Yeah. My 2 older kids. Yeah.
So how did you handle that in a sense of like, okay, I got traded, I got to move you. How was that like transition to like keep them with you? Obviously you had the resources, but it's more so like, now you got to go to a new school. Now you got to do this, you know? How was that transition for you?
There's the displacement factor, right? You rented an apartment from here, you rented furniture, now you cable, now you got to cancel that. You got to wait for this. So I was fortunate enough to have people do it. So I really didn't live through it. So the displacement of the kids, my kids were still, it was only my son at the time. My son was kind of like 4 or 5, so he wasn't really like in school heavy like that
no
yet.
friends,
It wasn't,
connections.
right. It wasn't like he was in high school and those just boys and this is
I gotta
the
leave
place
my
where they
boys.
go.
Yeah.
Right. So I was, if you could say, fortunate at that time that wasn't a big factor. But changing cities is
Because I think people forget that, like, this guy got traded, but now you got to move everybody with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you don't know who's affected by that. That's a tough decision to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's your job. It's how you provide for your family. So you're not gonna say no. You got to do what you got to do. So how does everybody else handle that? And I think a lot of people forget that. Yeah, it's a player, but he comes with some baggage behind him. You got a family, you got a wife, you got whatever, you got whoever you're living with at the time that you have to take care of. Those people are affected in those decisions as well. So I think a lot of times we kind of take away a little bit of the character from the humanity.
Yeah.
Being an athlete, you know what I mean? So
You're right.
So that's dope to hear. That's dope.
It was good. It was an easy transition. Fortunate enough,
Yeah.
Hey, it's been a lot of years around baseball, yo.
What teams exactly was it? It was what, Cincinnati?
Red Sox, Minnesota, Seattle, and then Cincinnati.
Shout out to my Red
Which
Sox.
one you like the most?
All of them, bro. It's the big leagues. Like, come on. People say, what's your favorite field? Like, all of them. It's like, it's the big leagues. It's your goal. It's your dream. Like, every field, whether it's ugly, new, or it's the big leagues. My favorite one
That's
was,
so real.
one of my favorite ones
That's
was
so real.
Detroit. The old Detroit Stadium.
Yeah. Wrigley?
No,
not
the
Wrigley.
old
Wrigley's
Detroit.
Cubs.
The old
Wrigley's
Detroit.
Cubs. Yeah.
Yeah, the old Detroit.
What's it called,
Real
man?
No, that's the Pirates. Tiger Stadium? Tiger Stadium?
No, was it Tiger Stadium?
It might have been. But yeah, so like first of all, the dugouts were like right here. The clubhouse, everything was like
It was like
this.
old school, right?
Very, very old school.
Yeah, Wrigley. I don't know why I even said that. What's wrong with me? But nah,
Cecil Fielder like hit me dead center. It was 440 to dead
Cecil
center.
Fielder.
And then there's 2 levels. He put me like back. It was about a 480 shot,
Who's
easy.
your baby?
Oh, yeah, here we go. Let's do it. This is my segment for everybody that plays in the big leagues. So I got 2 questions, right? So who's your daddy? So that guy that no matter what, I couldn't figure this guy out. And who's your son? Where it's like, yeah.
My son was Jeter. I struck him out 3 times in a game. He didn't hit so well off of me because with him I would do like all the angles. My daddy was freaking Johnny Damon, bro.
Oh, Johnny Damon.
I don't know what the exact stats are. I think he's like 9 for like 15 off of me with like 6 homers, bro.
Damn. What is that?
OPS through the roof.
I hit his barrel every time, bro. I hit his barrel. Like,
Nah, Johnny Damon
so
was that guy.
I became the the player rep for Minnesota because you need a pitcher because in case there's any meetings, the starting pitcher can go because he doesn't miss game time, right? So we had the winter meetings in Hawaii. So we get to play golf, and I'm playing with him. I was like, yo, you fucking owned me. You fucking owned me. And then there was one time I was like, that was it. I had to hit him. Boom! Flips his bat, looks at me, laughs. And then, like, I played golf with him in Hawaii. And I was like, yo, I'm sorry, not sorry that I hit you, but like, yo, you own me. You own me. Like, I had to show the world that, all right, you own me, but you're going to wear one for me. He was like, no problem. It didn't hurt, number one. So that means you weren't throwing that hard. I was like, I threw that shit hard. He was, nah. And second of all, you took too long. You took too long to hit me. I was like,
should do that 3 homers ago.
So yeah, definitely. Jeter, I think I pitched really well against him, and Johnny Damon was like my bite. Like that's my dad. Like, wow, I couldn't get him out ever.
That was crazy.
Yeah. One of my favorite guys from that team is Jay Buhner. I feel like he was like a quiet assassin, man. He was a quiet assassin.
He listened to gangster rap when gangster rap was like Compton, all of these people, NWA. That's what he had pumping in his truck. Shotgun in the truck behind, deer antlers everywhere, listening to NWA.
He definitely looks like he shoots deer.
Anything,
sure.
anything.
Yo, don't use out of it today. Deer. I was trying to figure out the bird, bro. Chill. I was trying to get to a specific bird. Let me rock, bro. Let me rock.
Yeah. Jay, he was a good dude, good teammate. Again, one of the few guys that you play with that will give you the shirt off their back. So he was that dude too.
That's cool, man.
And the big leagues back then, yo, that jump must have been fire.
I feel like that's
gritty.
That's an era of baseball that you can never get back, man. That's different. It's a different. Like fighting was normal. Now it's just like, oh my God.
Everybody, look how he just said that he hit Johnny Damon and he flipped the bat and cracked him a smile because he knew that he just didn't want to pitch him. Yeah. You do that now,
you got beef for the next 10 years, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What's something that you would like tell the kids, man, that that they're out here and they want to take their game to the next level. They're trying to create their own legacy, so to speak. What would you tell them?
I think the biggest thing to be able to focus on anything you want to be successful at is your time management has to be very important, especially when you get to college. Your time management, what you do, your time, how you're managing each and every minute of the day. If it's towards you want to be the best lawyer or the best doctor, then there's books you got to read. If you want to play baseball, there's skills that's your skill set that you have to work on so much that you don't really have friends. Friends come to see you. There's no more like going to Johnny's birthday. There's no more going to Great Adventures. There's no more, none of that. You have to make a sacrifice, and that sacrifice is rewarded with you getting to possibly, or at least the road being easier to get to where you're going, because that sacrifice is so important. And that sacrifice could be family. It could be like your time away from all your friends because you're working on what you need to work on. So if it is your dream, not only do you not let anybody tell you can't reach it, but it's almost like you have to prove it to yourself and want it for yourself before you want to prove anybody else wrong.
What do you do? What do you do with the hate?
I mean,
people always have something to say. You could be the best person, and you know what's crazy? This is my example of it. People talk about God in a bad way. So what makes you think that they're not gonna talk about me in a bad way?
Yeah.
So that's why I don't really care about what people say about anything, because if you could speak about the Almighty in the worst ways, like what makes you think that they're not gonna speak about you in the worst way?
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you handle that? How do you block the noise? How do you just, whatever, next?
I put it into two categories. There's one subject you can't talk to me or talk shit about, and that's my family. If you put that out in the street, then we're having a different type of conversation. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is, what exactly are you upset at? Is it something that you didn't have a part of, or you didn't understand that I could explain it a little bit better because maybe I would? And the thing was, had a kid a long time ago. I was like, you're not a good catcher. You can hit so that you'll find the place on the field. You're not a good catcher. What do you mean? I was like, tell your mom and your father to meet with me one day. We met after practice, and I'm the dude that learned how to put out stats. I'm like, you're the third catcher on our team. Not third like you're first, second, you're the third guy. You're one of three. These two guys, these are his numbers. how many pass balls did he have? 2 in 15 games. Other guy had 3 in 15 games. You had 34 in 8 games. So you tell me, it's job description. You are a catcher. You have to catch the ball, right? So that's the type of approach I take with things when not so much that you don't understand what I'm saying, I'm gonna show you why. So if if the hate's gonna come, and usually you know what they say, if somebody's hating on you, you're doing something right. You're doing all right, right? So I don't like that personally, but again, don't talk about my family, we're good. If there's something that you need me to explain a little bit better to you, that'll make you better, I'll do that.
But there's just some people that just, because you're you, because you played in big leagues, because you're successful, because you got drafted, because you are just you. And people just, I asked this question because in a broad way, because like life too.
Yeah.
Every day, somebody's always got something to say. Somebody's gonna sit there and say about me, oh yeah, Carlos, he's not the best, this, that. Oh yeah, he's such and such. I don't really care, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really worried about what nobody else is doing, but what I'm doing. We had this conversation.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna sit there and say, oh, Arbor, yeah, man, he shouldn't have been the guy from Jersey to get drafted. It should have been. It's always gonna be something. And I feel like when you start to work hard and work for like you and yours, like you focus on you and you just block noise, everything else works.
Yeah, stay true to
nobody
yourself.
can say anything. Nobody can say anything.
I
you
feel
know?
like because you asked him in the way you said it, it's like something that doesn't phase you until it gets to the point where it's talking about your family or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because you understand yourself. You understand what you're carrying, your load, your work, and what you want to do out of it and how you did it. You did things circumstantial because you were that person, you get me? You understand everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
So you have to embrace that and just kind of like block out the noise is what kind of like, what you're kind of trying to say, right? Like
Absolutely.
that stuff just doesn't matter unless it hits that personal note.
Right, it really
kinda
doesn't.
thing. Yeah, 100%. Your work is your work.
Yeah.
What rookie story you got in the big leagues?
Oh man, I wouldn't say a rookie story. I would say like I was in AAA. I got sent down from Minnesota to Salt Lake City for like 2 weeks. It was like a phantom DL thing, right? And I was like, yo, I'm coming down. I'm still making big league money. I'm gonna throw a party. I threw a party at the little apartment complex we rented, and person I was with at the time, I was like, yo, go get 3 decks of cards. So I bought a blackjack table, and I'm like, boom, we're playing. I'm like, damn, they're getting good cards. Like, and I looked at the deck, and the person got like 3 pinochle decks, which is 9 through ace. Right? So, and it was real money. It was real money.
Yo.
So I left, my losses that night were like $1,500 because I was the bank and I was paying them real money. And later on, we were like, we all decided like, all right, man, $1,500. Let's squash that. But we going out tonight. Let's go out tonight, and we're spending more than $1,500. So some of that money that you got, let's put back into it. Let's just put it back. So I think that was that moment was a big stress reliever because we just came off a bad series, and there was a lot of guys that's jobs were kind of like on the line.
That's true.
So just being able to, have that team together and
That looseness.
yeah, man, it was fun. It was a good moment for me, and it was just understanding like you have a higher calling. You know how they say celebrities should use their platform to say. I felt like coming down from the big leagues, being in AAA, I wanted to let them know like, yo, I'm here to like help you out as much as I can, and not only with the party that I threw, but a lot of them, like the pitchers that were there, they picked my brain, and I'm like, yo, up there, you're not gonna get away with that. So down here, let's work on this, let's work on that. And I was around everybody's bullpen, and I was just like, all right, that's good. All right, let's work on that.
Damn,
so I was
you
coaching.
tapping into that coaching.
Yes, early.
So I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you, what do you think? So you gave advice to like a young player, right? So what's your advice to a young coach, some guy who's trying to like work his way into coaching, and what advice do you have for them?
Have numbers to back up what you're talking about, and what I mean by that is I'm a big stat guy because numbers don't lie, right?
No, they don't.
And then there's some stats where like you're 0 for 4, but you hit 4 bombs, and they just track them down. Or guys made 2 great plays out of that. So I'm the guy the coach that I watch everything on the field. I'm like head on a swivel, like that cat with the eyes like that clock. Like I watch everything on the field, and I'm like just writing stuff down. And then either when they come in, I'll talk to them. If it really affects the game, I'm like, yo, you're lining yourself up wrong. Look, here's the paperwork. This guy hits the right side. You're lined up like he's a pull.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. So attention to detail as a coach and having the information written down that you saw in the game and be like, yo, this is what I saw in the game.
Gotcha.
And they're like, oh shit, you taking notes? Like you really care.
Yeah.
And that on paper shows them, because you can sit there and talk, oh, I remember this, but if you have it written down that that's the effort that you giving them to get better, they're gonna appreciate it more.
Now, when you take down those notes and all those things, like when you do those, is it more of like you're looking out for the player, you're looking out for the team, or a little bit of both, or what? Or is that just how you are? Like you just chart that for your mind, could be like at peace kind of thing.
All of the above.
Yeah,
All
right.
of the above, and I want to keep my job. So you win. If you win, you keep your job, right? How to win is not only through development and having that time, that attention to the detail with them, but it's also giving them the right information to succeed. If it's very simple.
And that's in the details.
Right. So a very simple thing is through the recruiting, like, okay, not the recruiting, the pregame stuff. Like I have information on through a website we go through, and Synergy. I don't know if you use Synergy. Use Synergy?
No, we never use that.
So it's all the information about all the games, video, like information. This guy hits to the right side with an 0-2 count, like tendencies, all of that.
Hey.
Oh yeah, that's the way it is in college.
I wish we had that.
I'm like, hey, we go through this. We looked at this. I'm like, you cannot throw this guy a slider. You cannot throw this guy a slider. Why not, coach? Because your 78 and 79 mile an hour slider is right at his bat speed, and he's gonna kill it. So you give them the right information, and then like if they have success, they're like, coach, you're right. Like, I didn't throw him a slider, and we got him out.
And then they buy in fully now.
Fully buy in, but it feels good. It feels good because you informed them, and then now you execute it.
Yeah.
So.
That's
you got to be selfless in coaching.
well, part of coaching. That's what it is. That people don't have that attention to detail no more, and it has to do with the love of the game. It's got to. While I'm hearing you talk, like I'm hearing like about like from the beginning to like the big leagues and all that stuff. It's just loving the game because it seems like you were never away from it.
Nah. Even when I was up there, like when I was a starting pitcher, like my thing was this is different now because it's just an iPad or whatever. But if you were the starting pitcher the next day, you're supposed to do the chart so you can see what these guys do. So I did that chart, but every game that I wasn't, I was right next to a coach. I'm like, coach, is he lined up right? Oh shit, he's not. Oh, move over. Like he was like, thanks, Frank, because I watched the game and I learned things from them. That's why I feel like I have so much in we talk about the bag, right? I have so much in so much knowledge and an understanding of the game because I really watched it and I care about it. That's what I told you, like before we started, like I want to like save this game. I wanted to put all the information out and train kids so this game lasts.
Bring real baseball back, man.
Yeah, and you want kids to watch baseball, right? Yeah. But then you kind of almost don't want them to, because now they're watching the Braves play, and Ozzie Albies and Acuna just kind of like threw the bat 300 feet away, struck out twice and hit 2 homers. You get me? Yeah. Like it don't look like the baseball that a 10-year-old should play.
And people don't understand that. Guess what? You see Acuna, he got all the sauce, all the flash and dash, but guess what? His game talks.
Yeah. And he's there. You're not.
They don't see that part. He's also the MVP.
Yeah. They see the surface.
Yeah.
And so he could do that.
The stuff he's wearing, the jewelry, and the flair. And they see that, and then you coach it, and then you're like, yo, this is a problem.
Yeah, for sure.
But they're not looking at the real stuff, the thing that's in there. Yeah? And that stuff doesn't happen. Bro, defense don't exist in the big leagues no more, if you repeat that either.
No.
Defense don't exist.
The parks are smaller, and the guys are hitting it up, and they're getting stronger. So,
so defense not existing.
So the data is, don't worry about lining up and doing this, like, this guy's gonna hit a homer for you next inning.
Yeah, exactly.
So the data is like,
it don't even matter anyway.
Nah, it doesn't.
And what they're telling the hitter in the data too is like, yo, when you do good when you bang, so bang.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this though, so I coached at Bergen Community College, for those who don't know, and we will play them every fall. And let me tell you, bro, they run a good ship over there. You guys do a great job, so I want to give you kudos to that.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Just having the conversation with the kids and seeing how they move, like, for example, our guys, like our bullpen guys, we got to tell them every 2 seconds, like, dude, go warm up. Go play catch. Stay loose, because you never know. These guys are doing plyos. They're doing bands. They're doing something. Yeah. These guys are always moving. And I'm coaching first. I see them just like moving everywhere. Yeah. There's not one kid in the game that's not doing something. And even the kids that are in the dugout, you see them locked in. You see them what's going on. I remember my second year that we played you guys, one of our guys hit 2 balls right in between first and second. And one of your guys said, hey, move over a little bit. Boom, made the play. That kid would have had 3 hits. But just because your guy relayed that was awesome, you know? So it's cool to see that, because you get so many coaches that just fall into that, I just want to win. And it's great that you guys talk about, bringing baseball back, because that's baseball.
Yep.
That's playing as a team. That's called coaching. Yep. You guys, kudos to you guys, man. You guys do a great job. I know one of our guys are going over there, and it's exactly what he needs. You guys are the exact program that he needs because you guys are gonna teach him the right things to do.
Yeah.
You know, and it's awesome to see that. So kudos to you guys, man. You guys do a great job. So anybody looking, man, I thought the recruiting pitch for you, man.
Mercy University.
Mercy University, man.
That's it, man.
You guys do a great job. So
That's it, yo. Thank you guys. Frank, man.
Yes, sir.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
That was informative, bro.
Anytime,
For real,
brother.
yo, thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Episode 3 in the books.
yes, sir.
You heard? Let's go.
Yo, shout out Mateo, yo. Let me get Mateo in the camera.
About to get in the camera, bro. Look at this, man.
Hey.
That's exciting.